What's going on, guys? Andrew Piluk Hockey here, back with another video, and today we're going to be ranking NHL starting goaltenders. Now, before I get this started, I know a lot of people don't like ranking videos and stuff like that, but this is just my opinion. I'm going to be basing this off of how I think this starting goaltender crop will do this season. I'm ranking them from 31 to 1 or 1 to 31, however you want to look at it. Some of these guys might not end up being the starter about a couple months in, maybe even a month into the season, so that could all change. This is just from now. It's August, the season hasn't started, so I'm going to kind of be predicting on how they will stack up this year. And I don't hate any of these goaltenders. I mean, I was a goalie my whole life. I'm a fan of the way that they, I like goalie battles. I like big saves. I like that stuff. So this isn't me going, well, I hate this goalie, so he's number 31. This is how I feel they will perform this season, and I could be completely wrong. And that's why I want to turn it over to you in the comments down below. Give me your suggestions of which goalies will fall, maybe even a save percentage or goals against average prediction. That's up to you guys. So this is just my opinion. Do not get mad if your favorite goalie is at number 31 or 25. I'm not dissing them, it's just how I feel they will do this year. I hope all of them have great years, because like I said, I love a good goalie battle. So we'll get right into this one. Hopefully you guys will enjoy this video. If you're new, make sure to subscribe and click the notification bell. Love to have more conversations with you. It's going to be a lot of fun here. Videos and streams, tons coming up. Also, there's a link down below for Andrew Piluk Hockey t-shirts. If you want to grab one of those, I switched the price up so it's a lot cheaper now. It's like $20 Canadian and like just over $16 US. That would help me because the money just goes back into the channel. And I'm hoping to do some donations along the way as well, and we'll talk about that. So hopefully you guys will like this video. Also, if you want to use code APH in all caps to get $20 off your first purchase with SeatGeek, you can get game tickets, concert tickets. It's cool. You get $20 off, APH in all caps. But let's get into this. Let's start off with number 31, and I have Robin Lehner from now he's on the New York Islanders. So I don't think he's going to have that great of a season, and there could be a possibility that there's a goaltending switch up. There might be a trade, something like that. The Islanders right now are in a period where they're moving on from the face of their franchise and maybe grabbing a new one in Barzal, because he's a fantastic hockey player. But back to Robin Lehner, last year, just over 3 goals per game as an average that he allowed last season, and his save percentage was just over 900, which isn't that great. And again, I'm not saying he's the worst goalie in the world. His numbers could improve. Every single goaltender on this list, numbers could be great. So me ranking them, I mean, it's just for fun, I guess, but this is how I view he will have how he will do this season. Sorry if I could speak English. I just don't think he's going to have that great of a year, and I think the Islanders might have not made a mistake, but I just don't think that it's going to work out to how some fans will want it. Also, quick note, I know the hockey guy right now is ranking goaltender tandems, but I'm just doing individual starters. This video's been planned for like a week or two now, so I didn't steal the idea. It's just me wanting to rank starting goaltenders, and I can even show you guys when I started the document if you're that worried. But yeah, 31, Robin Lehner. At number 30, I have Scott Darling. I don't really see him being a fantastic goaltender this year. I think, again, Carolina has more to prove, and maybe there will be a switch up in goal. I think, who's with them now? Did Mrazek get picked up? I can't remember who got picked up as well with Darling, but there is a pretty decent backup that went there, I believe. And I think that him improving his numbers from over 3 goals per game allowed and less than 900 save percentage, it's not looking too great, but I do think that he will probably improve those numbers. It just probably won't be where the team wants him to be. At number 29, I have Craig Anderson. Again, this Senators team is probably not going to be very good, and unfortunately that kind of falls on Anderson having to probably make more saves than he should every game. I'm not saying he's just going to be awful, but you can only stop so many pucks, and that could go for Lehner and Darling. I mean, I'm not saying they're bad, it's just maybe there's just too many shots on goal, and that means probably more pucks are going in the net if your team's not going to help as much. I think in Darling's case more, I don't think he's going to have that big of a season, but with Anderson, I just think that his numbers are going to have to improve. I mean, last year, 3.32 goals against average and an .898 save percentage. Those numbers could improve, but it's probably not going to be enough to have him as one of the best goalies in the league, of course. At number 28 is Roberto Luongo. Now, he didn't really play that many games, but going into, next season, I'm pretty sure he's going to be the starter with James Reimer getting a bunch of games, but probably as the backup. I don't think Florida's ready to move on from Luongo being the starter, although I do really like James Reimer, and I do think he could take over the starting position. But Luongo, 2.47 goals against average and a .929 save, which is pretty good. I don't know if he's going to be able to stay healthy all season, and that could impact his numbers. If you only play 35 games and you put up amazing numbers, then it's like if you play a full 62, or not 60, well, a full 62, because most goalies don't play all 82 games. They play just over 60 games unless you're Conor Halima and play 67, which is incredible. But, most goalies don't really play more than like 60, 63 games. So for Luongo, I don't think he's going to get there, and that's why I've got him this low. Or high, I guess, whatever way you look at it. Number 27 is Cory Schneider, and I didn't mean to do that on purpose. I just realized, the history of them being the starter, backup, whatever. It's pretty funny, I guess. But Cory Schneider, 2.93 goals against average, .907 save. That could go up, but and I think it has to, but I'm not really sure if Schneider's really going to have the crease for the whole season. Kincaid, I believe, is still there, and he's done pretty good, so we'll have to see, and again, that could impact Schneider's numbers. I'm actually a huge fan of Cory Schneider. I hope he gets it done this year and plays more than 40 games. I'd like to see him play upwards to 55, 60, but it could impact him with health reasons again. Alright, at number 26, I have Jonathan Bernier, who is now with the Detroit Red Wings, I believe, and he did pretty good with the Colorado Avalanche, 2.85 goals against average, and a .913 save. Those numbers probably going to hang around the same in my eyes, could actually get a little worse, but those are pretty impressive numbers, and if Detroit takes another step this year and gets a little better with some of the younger guys that they've brought in and some of the veterans to help out, I think his numbers could be pretty good, and I don't see him playing a ton of games, but if he gets like 50, 55 games, I think that would be pretty good, and Bernier's a good goaltender. He really is. At number 25, I have Cam Talbot. Now, this one I was kind of hung up about. I'm like, I think he's going to get a lot better this year, but I'm not sure. Maybe he won't. I don't know. I had to put him in this spot just based off the fact that I don't know how much better the Oilers are going to be, and that could impact his numbers as well. He allowed over 3 goals per game with a 3.02 goals against and a .908 save. Those numbers got to change quite a bit for, him to get up the rankings of best goalies. And again, I'm not just saying I'm the one that dictates that, but the fact of the matter is Talbot's got to be better this year, or else the Oilers aren't going to be, and I don't see him taking like a monster step forward and turning back into Talbot that we all know and love. At number 24 is Mike Smith. Pretty decent numbers with the Calgary Flames, 2.65 goals against average and a .916 save percentage. Now, I didn't know where to put Smith. I really didn't. But I think that this is a fair position to put him in because he's kind of hot and cold. If he's bad, he's bad. If he's hot, he's hot. So this season, it's probably going to be more of the same. I hope it's more to the hot side. I want him to be good this year. I want the Flames to be good. I'm a big fan of Mike Smith as well. The guy is a really good goaltender. I think that he's got a lot more skills than a lot of goalies do these days. He can stop pucks, but he also has a really decent chance to score a goal. He's got an incredible shot from his own net, and he makes good outlet passes as a goaltender. So he's got a lot going for him, but I think that this is a fair position to put him in based off the fact that I'm not sure how well he's going to do this year. At number 23 is Brian Elliott, who actually had decent numbers last year, decent, but he should get better. 2.66 goals against average and a .909 save. He definitely will have to get better, and I believe he's still with Philly. And Philadelphia is going to want to get into the playoffs and play really good again. So they've added to their team, and I think that Elliott this year is going to have to prove that he can really put up more games, as he only played 43, but he might have to get into that 50-55 range to get comfortable in that, get back to where he was before. And I know he's had some bit of a, rocky road, I guess you could say, the last 2 or 3 years, I guess. Some places didn't work out for him, like Calgary. So hopefully Elliott will rebound this year, and I figure he might put up around the same numbers. At number 22 is Ben Bishop. Now, last year he had a 2.49 goals against average and a .916 save percentage. I probably see him doing about the same or maybe getting a little worse, but I think it's fair to put him here because Bishop is pretty good, and if he stays healthy, his numbers could get really good. We've all known that Bishop is a big guy. He's got a big body, big frame. He can stop a lot of pucks. It just depends on how the team does in front of him as well. Dallas, will see how good they do, but I think Bishop will probably have around the same numbers, kind of in the same case as Elliot. As long as he plays a good chunk of games and, you know, stops pucks to the best of his ability, he'll probably stick around the same numbers, if not get a little better or a little worse. At number 21, I have Matt Murray. Now, I really didn't know where to put Matt Murray. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I had him actually probably closer to the bottom because, you know, I think that Matt Murray's good, but I have this weird feeling that he's going to have a bit of an off season. Now, I know he's dealt with a lot, and I'm not dissing him for that or anything like that. I totally give him full support with family issues, whatever that. Any NHL player, I want them to, you know, be healthy and, you know, have their mind in the right place and be able to move on from things and stuff like that. But if Matt Murray stays out of the lineup for too long, I think he'll be a little bit too cold when he gets back in, where his numbers could like fall off a little bit. Last year he had 2.92 goals against, which he could probably do much better. I mean, he's got 2 Stanley Cups, and he's proven that he's a great goaltender. A .907 save percentage. I think those numbers could get better this year, and that's why I put him in number 21. I think that it's fair to say that he could have a better year, but I don't see him having like an incredible year by any stretch, but I think that it's fair to put him where he is. At number 20 is Corey Crawford. This is another guy that I was like, okay, there's a lot of health issues that are going on. We're not even sure if he's going to be able to play this year, but in fairness, he is still a starting goaltender in the NHL, and I feel like if he is healthy come a little bit into the season, like even if it's a month in, he's still going to get a huge chunk of games in and be the Hawks starter, because when he is in the net, he's an incredible goaltender. In 28 games, of course, a small sample size, he had a goals against average of 2.27 and a .929 save percentage. But we know Crawford is a great goaltender. He's proven it in the past. He's a champion. He knows how to get it done. And I think that if he does get over the health issues and he gets back into the net, that he'll get a really good chunk of games. I really hope he plays more than 50 games this year, because that's how the Blackhawks will get much better, and that's why he's at this point in the list. At number 19 is Jakob Markstrom, if I'm not sure how some people say it. I've heard commentators call him Jakob and Jacob, so I'm not sure which one it is. But I'm just going to say Markstrom is a good goaltender. I think a little bit underrated, even though Canucks fans probably want Demko to be their starter of the future, and he probably will be. But last year, a 2.71 goals against average and a .912 save percentage. Those numbers are probably going to stick around the same, maybe get a little better. The Canucks are kind of one of those teams where I'm not sure how good they're going to be this year. Not a playoff team, probably not that great. But he played 60 games. I mean, he put up decent numbers in 60 games with a team that wasn't that great. So I think it is fair to put him at number 19. At number 18 is Devan Dubnyk. Now in 60 games, 2.52 goals against and a .918 save percentage. The reason why I have him here is because I think the Wild are going to take a bit of a step back this year, which would in turn obviously affect everybody's numbers, including Dubnyk for the most part. I think Dubnyk has really turned his game around, and I'm going to be, you know, one of the people that comes out and admits that when he was with the Oilers, I was calling him overrated. I wasn't a big fan of him. I think that the reason why I say overrated is because, you know, some fans really liked him and said he had a high ceiling, which of course he did, and I was like, no, you know, Dubnyk, he's not good. The Oilers need another goaltender. Well, Dubnyk has worked out for the Minnesota Wild, and you know what? That's fantastic. I'm happy for him. He's a great guy. And, you know, this year I think since the Wild are going to take a bit of a step back, like I said, his numbers could probably take a bit of a hit too, but maybe he'll be around the same, maybe a little worse. At number 17 is Antti Raanta. In 47 games played, he had a 2.24 goals against average and a .930 save percentage. So he played just under 50 games and he had really impressive numbers. Now, he was really hot towards the end of the season there. If he gets in more games, maybe that Coyotes team is a tad better. But I think that the Coyotes are going to shock some people this year. I think they're going to be a lot better than what they were. And I think that Raanta is probably proving that he's the guy that can help them win games. With numbers like that, with just under 50 games. If he could get to 55 and put up probably numbers that are going to be a little worse, because he's not going to probably put up those numbers. If he does in 60 games, I mean, this guy is looking fantastic. But even if his numbers go down a bit, he's still looking pretty good. The Coyotes could have a pretty decent year, and I think that it's fair to have him at number 17 with those numbers in just less than 50 games. At number 16 is Carter Hutton. I believe he's now with the Buffalo Sabres. And again, 32 games, not a huge sample size, but he had a 2.09 goals against average and a .931 save percentage. So those numbers will take a bit of a hit because the Sabres will be better. But again, when you double your production, if you can stay around here at 60 games, then you're one of the best goalies in the world. But I do think that to get adjusted to Buffalo's system, to get used to how the team plays, maybe not the greatest at the beginning, could have a bit of a rough start. Maybe the team gets some injuries. Buffalo is kind of one of those teams where it's like they could be really good this year or really, kind of mediocre. It's going to affect Hutton's numbers, but I think that if they are playing good, Hutton could be one of the reasons why they're fantastic. And he's proven before that he can get in there and, get a job done for at least 30 games. Let's see if he can get towards 50, 55, and maybe even 60. And if he puts up decent numbers, it's going to be looking real good for Buffalo. At number 15 is Tuukka Rask, and I put him here because he had a good season, and he has, experience with winning and stuff like that, so I figured with a 54-game sample size last year, 2.36 goals against average, and a .917 save percentage, that the 15 ranking was probably pretty good. I feel like it's fair. Tuukka Rask is a good goaltender. Better speed this up a little bit, and I feel like he's going to probably put up around the same numbers because Boston is going to be in contention, of course. At number 14 is Jake Allen. The Blues got better this offseason. Allen's a good goaltender, almost played 60 games, and he had a really good sample size. 2.75 goals against average and a .906 save percentage. I expect both of those numbers to get better. I really do think he's going to have a really good year, and the Blues are probably going to be back in the playoffs in my eyes, and Jake Allen is probably going to be the reason, one of the reasons why they get back in there. At number 13 is Varlamov, Semyon Varlamov. Last year in 51 games played for the Avalanche, 2.68 goals against average and a .920 save percentage. Now, obviously he had a bit of health issues and, maybe that affected how they played, but I think that he was a big reason why they were so good last season. And this is a contract year for him, I believe. If not, then maybe... I don't remember if it's a contract year for him. Regardless, he's going to have to play good anyways if the Avalanche want to get back into the playoffs again. I think that it's fair because of that .920 save percentage as well to have him at number 13, because I do think that he could match these numbers, if not get a little better, even with more games played. At number 12 is Marc-Andre Flurry. Now, here's the big if. If Marc-Andre Flurry is healthy and plays like 50, 55 games, we know he's probably worthy of being at this spot in the list. But if he only plays 46 games, Vegas probably wants more production, So 46 games played, he had a 2.24 goals against average and a .927 save percentage. So very good numbers, and if he can play 50 to 55 games and put up those numbers, again, Vegas is going to be very good. You want a goaltender that's going to be able to help you win hockey games. All you got to do is score an average of 2 or 3 goals a game, and you probably have a good chance to win. That's what Marc-Andre Fleury gives Vegas. Hopefully he plays more games this year. At number 11 is Henrik Lundqvist. Even though his numbers weren't fantastic last year, I do think that it will get better, as the Rangers probably will be a little better this year. I don't think they'll be too bad, even though they are in a rebuilding stage. He played 63 games and had a 2.98 goals against average and a .915 save percentage. That goals against average is probably going to get a little better. I don't think it'll be at 3. I think he'll be in the 250, 240-ish range. And with the amount of games he plays and, the experience that he has, I got to give him credit, even with a pretty, mediocre team at this point, that he's probably still going to put up some decent numbers. At number 10 is Carey Price, and it shocks me to even put him at this point. A lot of people are going to disagree that Carey Price shouldn't be here anymore, but Carey Price is going to return to form, and I'm gonna say that I wanted to put him higher on this list. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I had Carey Price in the top 5 when I started making this list. I really think he's going to rebound. 49 games played, 3.11 goals against average, and a .900 save percentage. Those are not Carey Price numbers. He's gonna get better. Montreal is not gonna be very great this year. They're probably not even going to be good, but at the same time, Carey Price is probably going to not be the reason why they're losing. I expect him to be healthy this year and play much better. At number 9 is Braden Hobie, the Stanley Cup champion, who didn't have the best regular season last year, but had a really good playoff. So in 54 games played, he had a 2.99 goals against average and a 907 save percentage. I'm expecting him to have an incredible year. I really think Hobie's going to step it up again. The confidence is there. The Capitals might be on a cloud 9. Obviously they are. They're Stanley Cup champions. I think that he's going to have a much better season, and maybe he'll even make his way into my top 5 for the next season. At number 8 is Frederick Anderson, and I actually wasn't sure if I should put him here, but with the Leafs getting better and then probably having more defensive-minded forwards in the lineup, I think that his numbers will get better. Last season in 66 games played, he started a lot of games. He had a 2.81 goals against average and a 918 save percentage. Now, here's the case where I'm going to argue that some goaltenders, if they play around the 62 to 64 range, maybe even 60 to 62 range, that the numbers will obviously be a little bit better based off of fatigue. Now, there are some goalies that can play, 67 games and have great numbers, but I think Freddie is probably better off in the 60 to 62 range of games played, and his numbers might get a little better based off the fact that he'll get a bit of rest. I think he'll be real good this year. At number 7 is Jonathan Quick. One of the best goalies in the league. We know he's a fantastic goaltender. I'm a big fan of him. 64 games played. I believe he had a 2.40 goals against average and a 921 save percentage. He's just fantastic. I really, really like Jonathan Quick. I think that he's probably going to put up similar numbers this year. I want him to probably step it up a little bit because the Kings are probably going to be looking for a chance to, be a good playoff team this year. They added Kovalchuk, of course. I think he's going to be real good. At number 6, I have Martin Jones, who played in 60 games and had a 2.55 goals against average and a 915 save percentage. I expect him to probably be around the same. Maybe the save percentage gets a bit better. But the Sharks are going to be real good this year. I expect him to be part of the reason why they're an elite team. At number 5, John Gibson, who just got a new contract. He's feeling good. 60 games played. He had a 2.43 goals against average and a 926 save percentage. What a goaltender. I'm a big fan of Gibson. If this guy stays healthy and has no more, I think it was concussion issues that he was dealing with before, then this Ducks team is going to be real good this season. As long as Gibson is healthy, this team is going to win more games. And even when the Ducks were playing bad some games, Gibson was still standing on his head. I expect him to do the same. And number 4 is Pekka Rinne. Now, he's a great goalie. We do know that sometimes he's a little cold, and we've seen it in the playoffs before, but he's going to have a good season. 59 games played, 2.31 goals against average, and a 927 save percentage. I really do think he'll stay around the same when it comes to his numbers. The Predators, of course, have a great defensive core, but when Pekka Rinne needs to make stops, he does it. He'll probably do around the same this year. At number 3 is Sergey Bobrov Ski. Now, I do know he is in a contract year this year, so his play will probably improve. 65 games played. He had a 2.42 goals against average and a 921 save percentage. And I expect those numbers to probably be around the same, if not better. Like I mentioned, some players in their contract year will step it up to ensure that they get that money. And with Columbus being a good team and him with that contract on his mind, maybe he steps it up even more. I expect it. At number 2 is Conor Halima. 67 games started, 67 games played, 2.36 goals against average and a 924 save percentage. Boy, was he good. Sorry, the camera just cut off on me, but I really do think he's going to be really good this year. People think it might be a fluke. I think he could really put up those numbers again. He's going to be real good for Winnipeg this year. They're going to want to be a great team going into this season. They're going to want to make that Stanley Cup final because I know that they're going to have some cap issues the next season. So I really do think that Hellebuyck's going to stand on his head again this year. At number 1, in my opinion, Andrei Vasilevsky is the best goaltender in the NHL. Currently, 65 games played, 2.62 goals against average, and a 920 save percentage. I think that he's going to have even better numbers next season. I think he's going to shock the world. He's going to be the Vezina winner. I really do think he's going to be great. And look at the way he plays the game and the way Tampa plays. It's not a huge surprise that he could have been in the top 3 or even number 1. Big fan of the guy, and I really hope he has a good year, and I do expect it. So hopefully you guys agreed with my rankings. If not, please put yours down below. Again, this is just an opinion piece. I'm not saying I'm always going to be right and my opinion's the only one that matters. You guys can give your opinion. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. Love to have more hockey conversations with you. Join the squad. Click the notification bell to be notified for all the new videos and streams that are coming up. Also, if you want to buy an Andrew Piluk Hockey t-shirt, they are down below. You know, it's only just over $16 American, $20 Canadian. If you guys buy a shirt, tweet it to me or send it to me. I'll put it in a video and shout you guys out. Whatever you guys want shouted out, I'll shout it out if you buy the shirt. Also, if you want to get $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek, use code APH in all caps. And yeah, you can get concert tickets, game tickets, whatever you want to get. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. I'll see you guys in the next video or stream. Peace.